Welcome in. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau. Nice turnout today, and we want to invite you. We saved you a seat here at Wings Etc. We're in their brand new banquet room. Well, I guess it's the second year for the banquet room. If you are coming to Wings, just take a right at the front door, and we're right around the corner. You can't miss us. All of the Wings Etc. logos are there in the window, and we've got two massive tables set up for fans that want to come out and be a part of the Redhawks Coaches Show. We're going to be talking with Redhawks quarterback Jax Leatherwood. He is here. He had a big game against the Salukis on Saturday, and we're going to be talking it over with the Redhawks head coach. I want to remind you that in addition to their award-winning jumbo wings here at Wings Etc., they have a full menu that includes their freshly made burgers. They have wraps, subs, quesadillas, entree salads. If you're into the appetizer lineup, they have a terrific one. Their massive ultimate nachos, their spicy deep-fried pickle chips, their delicious pretzel bites. And if you haven't downloaded their loyalty app, that is the move. You get points for every one of your Wings Etc. purchases, and you can do that through the Wings Etc. loyalty app. It's a free download. It is the home of the Redhawks Coaches Show. Good food, great times. Wings Etc. Redhawks head coach Tom Tukowitz is here, and your quarterback has made the trip here. What was the first thought the first time you stood next to the guy?
I don't know. I think just hadn't seen somebody that big. I had assumed, when you watched film and you hear about him, that he was a skinny guy, but he's stout and had good size and all those type of things. But it was definitely just not used to seeing a guy that big. But once you got to know him, it was just there was not any red flags. I think the people you talk into the business, and I would talk to lots of people, and one of the reasons he wasn't recruited heavier was they would say his size. But that's the exact reason I wanted him. So it's just so interesting that it just kind of depends on the coach, man, what they believe in and all those type of things. But, it's been such a pleasure to get to know him and his family. And I think I said this earlier, just people don't realize just how hard it is to pick up, leave San Diego, come to a place you've never heard of, meet all kinds of new people and all those type of things, and do it at a young age. It's one thing to be a grad transfer and do that, but it's a totally different other thing when you do it at 19. And so just really proud of him.
I want to ask him when we get him on if he had ever heard of Cape Girardeau and what he knew about Missouri before he came here.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be a good story. Really, the only concern I have is he wants to do a job like you. He wants to be a sports broadcaster, and I was, everything else he's ever said or done I've liked, except that.
I don't blame you. So when you talk about a guy who is going to be successful at the quarterback position, there are different philosophies on that. Dual threat quarterbacks seem to be very popular these days. Your philosophy, and you've talked about it on this show, you believe, as I know you're not the only one you're not on an island with this, but you believe, especially in a big game, in a big spot, pressure situation, there are times where you're just going to have to beat somebody from the pocket. You're going to have to make a throw from the pocket. The running lanes are not going to be there. It's not about what you can do with your legs. Maybe it's about that in terms of extending a play, but in big games, you want to win championships, you got to have a guy that can make a throw from the pocket in a big spot.
Yeah, 3 years ago really shifted. I would have told you 5 years ago that I want a mobile quarterback. Wouldn't recruit a guy that's not mobile. But the more I'm in it, I really feel like you're not going to be a top 25 team. You're not going to do anything in the playoffs unless you could beat people from the pocket. So the point is, I want a quarterback being the most comfortable that he's ever in is in a 2-minute drive. because that's what he does the best. I'd rather have to coach the mobility, train it, those type of things, than I would how to set in the pocket and hit hands.
So your offense in this war for the wheel game found itself in a 2-touchdown hole early in the game. It's 14-0 in favor of SIU. And, boy, your offense responded in this game, Coach. If I told you before the game that you were going to rack up 569 yards of offense, you certainly would have taken that, right?
Yeah, totally. Want to definitely address just not starting strong. We haven't started strong yet, and so that's a real concern that we got to work on. Give up a big play and then we turn it over and we're down 14-0 before anything happens, and so we got to address that. But again, I appreciate that our offense just kept going to work. They didn't let that define their effort or anything. Didn't let them get them down, and really put a good game together. I felt like all along it's been coming. Like we've been putting some good weeks together. Unfortunately, we have 9 new starters, so it's just we've had a little bit different lineup up front. We're trying to get all the pieces together. Then we lose one of our starting receivers, and then here's another juggle and some stuff like that. But we're kind of getting a consistent lineup. We've been getting a consistent preparation at practice, and so I knew at some point the results were going to come. Now we had the yards, but we got to have the points to match. If you're in 500 yards, you should be in the 40s, and so hopefully we can finish some of those red zone drives. Took a sack down there. We're on the 1 yard line and have to kick a field goal. Stuff like that you can't do.
So I wanted to ask you about that play. It's 31-14. There's plenty of time left in the football game, and it's 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter. So you've got 6 minutes to play in the third, and then you've got the fourth quarter. It's 38-14 in the game, and Cam Pedro catches a pass down near the goal line. It appeared, looking at replay, was signaling to the sideline, hey, I think I got in. I think I crossed the plane. And so you line up for a tush push, similar to what the Philadelphia Eagles do with your big quarterback, and you quarterback sneak it. He goes over the top, touchdown. Oh, wait a minute. The officials say the previous play is under review. First of all, how does that work? Do they get signaled from the booth? It looked like Cam was signaling to you. Do you ask for that at the time? You don't know that you're going to quarterback sneak it in, and then they're going to say, wait a minute, let's go back and look at the replay. What was the evolution of that whole scenario?
Yeah, they buzzed from the press box down to stop the play. The mechanics of it, what I was disappointed of is once the ball snapped,
it's over.
It should be over. You can't then go back. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we get to decide the tempo. So we didn't wait for the replay. We were on the one, so we were going to tempo them, hurry up, get lined up, sneak it in before they even have a chance, which we did, but then they replayed it, and so that's how it all went down. If we'd have just waited for it, they would have, and if we wanted them to look at it, but we thought we could get them in anyway, and so that ended up, not working out for us.
And after that, you went with a different setup. You dropped into shotgun, ran a couple of plays that didn't work, and then all of a sudden it's fourth down. You settle for a field goal. If it's 38-21 with 6 minutes to play in the third quarter, all of a sudden SIU's feeling a little bit more pressure. You don't know that everything materializes after that point the same way that it did, but that was
good learning opportunity. I think we could have had that specific series back. We would have done it better.
So you knew going into the game, I'm not even sure SIU knew when they got DJ Williams, their quarterback. You saw him. 2021 was a weird season because you played UT Martin twice, you played Murray State twice. COVID really messed everything up. And that year, I would parallel the start of your schedule to the start of your schedule this year. That year, SIU was ranked 7th. You played them first. Then you go play the number 1 team in the nation like you did this year, Sam Houston. Then you go play Mizzou the following week. So I would say schedule difficulty very similar to what you're facing this year, but that year you played Murray State twice, and you saw DJ Williams as a freshman, and he basically single-handedly won that game here. They kick a field goal with no time left on the clock and win by 1 point, but he kind of emerged onto the scene. It may have been his first start as a quarterback, and you said going into the game, we've got to consider this guy a running back. He's going to be the fastest guy on the field, and he goes 75 yards on that very first play. I mean, he's like Lamar Jackson at the college level, and people, I also kind of compared him to Michael Vick a little bit. He's way bigger than Vick. Vick was a little guy. This guy's 6'3", 218.
Yeah, I think, he's by far the best player on the field, and, it is a lot different when you got a mobile quarterback that's 180 versus 220. I think, it was, we knew what was going to happen. We weren't good enough to stop him, and I don't know who else will be, so it was disappointing, and we got to do a better job. I'm disappointed. I think you called our defensive players a bunch of kindergartners.
Regrettable comment.
But I think, that's a disappointing, where I come from, that's talking shit. And if you say something about me, it doesn't really bother me. But about the players, that makes you just wonder if you've ever played the game. He's going to make a lot of people look like that. That being said, we obviously didn't have a great plan. Our players didn't play well. And so, I think we can't just throw in the towel, though. I still believe in those guys, and I think we can play better defense, and it's got to start this week.
So when you've got a quarterback that can do it both, and that's throw the ball and run the ball.
It's a challenge.
I mean, how do you game plan differently for a guy like that? And not just the guy that can run. People bounce off this guy. He ran for 128 and 3 scores the week before against UT Martin.
You just got to have really good second-level players. You need a couple Bryce Normans. That's the bottom line. Normally, they're not that elite. They can run, but they're not like a great runner like what DJ is. And so that's really the problem. It wasn't like we didn't have guys there. We couldn't tackle him. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like he surprised anybody or anything. We just couldn't get him on the ground.
And throwing the deep ball, did you see that on video? Was he that accurate throwing the deep ball?
He is a little streaky, but he throws the deep ball well. He hit a couple on UT Martin. Last year versus Incarnate Word, he hit a bunch of deep balls. I think also just how much contact's he getting. Is he a little banged up when it's third down? That those kind of things come into play, but supposedly he's got another year.
Oh, really?
Somehow, as they're saying, that'd be a 7th year. So I'm not exactly sure how that would work, but so I'm sure he may look to transfer. But dynamic player. Hats off to Nick and SIU. They got a good football team, and hopefully they go on a run.
And one of the things, and we mentioned it going in, we mentioned it on this show last week, 25 guys on their roster who are 5th, 6th, or 7th year guys. They got 5 6th-year guys, 2 7th-year guys. And when you talk about a roster like that, I think it's fair to say they're going to lose a big chunk of those guys. This is a team that is built to win right now with this quarterback.
There's no question. Yeah, and Nick does a good job using him. Their schemes are tough too, and if they can take you vertically and a quarterback run, I mean, it's just really hard to play good defense versus that.
All right, so your offense, we mentioned 567 yards. It was 422 through the air for Jax Leatherwood, couple of touchdowns, and it was 11 different receivers that he completed passes to. I mean, he wasn't locked in on Cam Pedro. He wasn't locked in on Calvin Gilbert. I mean, he is seeing the entire field. Is that a fair statement if you're completing to 11 different guys?
I think that is, but I think the full story is he's got a lot of weapons. I think what quarterbacks don't do enough is understand that you're only going to play well based on how people play around you. I mean, you could be a great quarterback if you're not getting protection or you got nobody to get open, like you can't do what you do then. And so I think what we got on offense right now is we got balance. The running game's there too. We got, tall wideouts. We got fast little ones. We got they're coached really well. So I think just all of the pieces around him are coming together, and but a great quarterback makes those around him better too. With a ball in the right spot, so they can catch it and keep running instead of slowing down and then speeding up. All the little things that happen, but. It's exciting to see, how this season could go if they can keep it going. We got to stay healthy. All of our injuries seem to be stacking up on defense. But if the offense can stay healthy, and Jack's got to handle another thing too, because, up to this point, everybody in his life's been a hater. When they talked about SEMO and all of our signees, they didn't even mention Jax.
Who's they?
Like the FCS, that Sam Herder or whatever from.
Okay, same, yeah.
They talked about all of our signees. They didn't even mention him. Well, now you throw for 400. Now what happens? So
people
everybody would say, "Oh, Jax, man, you're really something." And so if he eats those sugar-coated lies. Then it'll affect his game. So that's what a quarterback's got to do, man. You need a hater in your life and you need praise. You need both, and they're really the same. Really, they're just going to prevent you from focusing on the moment. Like at the end of the day, what do we got to do in this drill, in this play, to be successful?
Isn't that a big part of being a coach and a leader? You got to be a psychologist. And at times, you've got to know what this particular player needs. Well, he needs a hater this week, but he needs somebody that loves him this week. Is that one of the tougher things to do as a head coach?
Yeah, I think, I wish I'd have studied just human nature. I mean, the more you know about human nature, the better you're going to be when you're a coach. Even when Jax got here, we coach him really hard. I mean, we're pointing everything out bad, and it's really tough for him. He's coming in, he's like, God, they hate me. And no, we love you so much, we're going to coach the shit out of you. But if he takes it wrong, then now all of a sudden his confidence starts to go down. He takes it wrong. So it still comes down to relationship. But the thing I think we both have is trust. I believed in him and I trust him, and I think he believes in me and trusts that, I'm always going to be honest, that I believe in him and in the player that he is, the man that he is, and then we just got to work out all these other things. But we're a Get Better program, and we're about that business. We're not going around talking about how good things are. We're always talking about, how can we improve things.
I think that's interesting. When I was in the Navy in boot camp, one of the things that the company commander's job is to break you down. I mean, to break you down like you're breaking down a rifle, and then try to make you quit. And the guys that don't and the guys that make it, then they start to build you back up the way they want you to be, to know exactly what you're going to have to do in your career in the military. But they want to weed out all of the weaker, the weaker recruits. It seems like it's similar in sports.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just such a game of adversity, right? You're just going to go through it. And so do you really want the first time they go through it to be in a game? or in a war or in a battle. I mean, you want it to be all in these phases. And so if you really care about them, you're really tough on them because you want it harder in those moments so that they're ready when it counts.
So I'm sure you're thinking about a million things after a football game, and then you have all weekend to think about it before you got to come and be on this show. What are the things that you are thinking about the most to improve the defensive side of the football?
Well, I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I just believe in this. When you're not playing well, I think you need to hit the pause button. Number one thing you need to ask, hey, are we playing the right guys? You know, you got new players. We may not know that well, or, you know, we need to make sure that we have our best players in the lineup. So I think it starts with that. And so we've done that. And then the answer is to do less better. You know, we're not executing on defense. We're not tackling well. Well, is that because we're a little unsure? So I want to get them fast and physical. Like, how can our defense fly around and be physical? And so that's what we've been working on. But realistically, there are some challenges over there. You know, when you lose our best defensive player, or our two best defensive players was McCoy and JP. I mean, if you look at when we got done playing, they would always be in the top 5 statistically. And now that they're not there, you know, nobody's kind of fell in that place and come up with those stats. And so we gotta try and figure that out, and we gotta figure it out fast. But usually it's about fundamentals. You know, defensively, when you're struggling, it's generally because you're getting blocked, you don't know how to get off blocks, or once you're there, you can't finish on a play, which was our case against Southern Illinois, and so that's what we got to try and get better at.
The first few games of the year, I know you were frustrated about some pass interference flags. You took that off the film on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, secondary-wise, we didn't play good, but we played better, to be honest. Like, we're getting better, and I think we have the talent to get there. And I'd tell you, if I didn't, I'd tell them if we just don't have the athleticism, but we do. Now, we got to be able to handle the highs and the lows of a game and not emotionally get hijacked and all that. We got to stay focused and stay locked in. We need to coach them better, get them in better positions. But secondary-wise, you know, I really feel like we have enough talent in there to win the league. But you know, talent don't win, skill does. We got to turn that talent into skill, and it's everybody's job to get that done. But it's a team sport. Like, at the end of the day, you win and you lose as a team. And so I promise you there's going to be a day where offense is struggling and defense is going to have to win us a game, and vice versa. So that's what it's got to be, and we got to stay together and not let media or fan base, you know, placing blame affect things. You know, I'm glad fans are upset. It was a great environment. Not even though you got blown out by your rival, it wasn't all bad. Number one is we generated more revenue in that game than we ever have in the history of our program.
It was a sellout.
So, you know, at the end of the day, it was you know, there was positives there, and so we've come a long ways, and just a giant reminder about how fragile winning is and what it takes to sustain that level of success.
I think one of the upsets in the game was the fact that it wasn't a game late in the fourth quarter. You've been a part of all 8 of these wheel games. They are always decided in the fourth quarter. That was a surprise because they have all gone right down to the wire. I don't care that that's the 5th time the road team has won. Those games went right down to the wire. Now, last year you separated a little bit late, but these have been close, competitive games with SIU.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that was disappointing, and they came out ready to play and executed at a high level.
All right. When you talk about, I wanted to ask you about your offensive line coach. It's Rashad Turner, Jalen Nettles, Chris Farrell, the center, the Kent State transfer, Yusuf Sanogo Kendrick, and Wilbert Phillips. How has your offensive line been moving here as we've gone from week 1 to now week 4?
I think we're coming on. I think we played as hard and as physical as we've had. Damani Taylor was actually the starter at left tackle, played most of the game there. And so we're starting to get the lineup set and really felt like, especially as the game went on, Jax had plenty of time in there. We opened some good run game holes. And so they're really coming on. I've been pleased with the progress. We weren't there yet by no means. I think we could still play our best game yet, but I'm excited about where it's headed.
All right. Before we bring Jax Leatherwood up here, Coach, how did he appear on your radar?
So his quarterback trainer in San Diego has SEMO ties. He was a coach here long time ago, and now he trains quarterbacks in San Diego. And he called Jeremy McDowell, put him on our radar. So then we started watching the film from there. But normally, that's a pretty tough sell. None of the coaches want to come into my office and say, "Hey, Coach, I got a player from California I want you to watch," because they normally know that's, not my deal. It's not that I don't I hate California. It's that culture and fit is really important to me. And so it's a Midwestern culture here, right? So someone coming in, it's really just kind of tough. You got to make sure you get the right kind of guy. But after the Zoom call with his family, I knew he was a good fit here, and I also knew I could help him. I wasn't going to necessarily make him more accurate and those type of things, but I knew I was going to be able to help make him tougher. I knew I was going to be able to help his leadership, and more than anything, it would be like the first time in his life he had a coach that really believed in him in college, which is really important. If the head coach don't believe in you, man, it's tough to play at quarterback, and we're kind of tied together. Normally going to blame both of us, or you get the credit. So I just think that chemistry is really important.
All right, we're going to talk with the Redhawks quarterback. Jax Leatherwood is here. He's enjoying the delicious menu at Wings, etc. We'll find out just exactly what he's enjoying. The Redhawks Coaches Show, quick timeout, and we'll return on SEMO ESPN.
As a business owner, have you ever wondered how to show up on someone's stream of their favorite shows? Want to throw a net over the competition and catch relevant potential customers? Let us help. We're creative, ruthlessly efficient, and ready to set up your advertising game with digital options. Don't be scared of the future. Embrace it and use it to your advantage. Visit maxdigitaladvertising.com and get in touch with Tommy, a local rep ready to make a connection to help your business grow. That's maxdigitaladvertising.com. Let Max Digital maximize your advertising dollar with digital.
Your business's local SEO health is more important than ever. That's how customers find you instead of your competition. Max Digital is the local digital marketing HQ and your expert to help your business achieve SEO excellence. If you need some help, request a free SEO consultation. We'll quickly pull an SEO report card for you and provide you with ideas to improve for free. To schedule, visit maxdigitaladvertising.com. Let Max Digital maximize your advertising dollar with digital.
It is the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings Etc. in Cape Girardeau, and we will be right back here at the Cape Girardeau location next week. We're in their new banquet room. You just take a right when you go or when you're coming to the front door of Wings. We're right around the corner. You can't miss all the Wings Etc. logos. And a reminder, if you have not downloaded that free Wings Etc. loyalty app, that is the best way to go. You get points for all of your Wings Etc. purchases, whether you are eating at the restaurant, whether you're taking it to go, or whether you have it delivered through the loyalty app. DoorDash partners with Wings Etc., and you can get your order delivered wherever you are right through the Wings Etc. loyalty app. It is the home of the Redhawks Coaches Show, Wings Etc. Good food and great times. We welcome in the quarterback of the Redhawk football team, Jax Leatherwood. How are things, Jax?
Things are going great. Thanks for having me on.
So we saw you enjoying the delicious menu here at Wings Etc. What exactly did you have on your plate?
I got the double bacon burger. It's got a bunch of bacon, bunch of cheese, and then I got curly fries on the side.
All right. Do you prefer? Do you have a go-to cheese?
No, but I mean this one's cheddar, and I love it. So yeah.
All right, so you went burger, and that's the thing. As you were, I don't know when your first time at Wings Etc. was, you're thinking, okay, they got a lot of chicken. Mm-hmm. And what'd you think the first time you saw their burger menu, because they had a lot of them?
No, well, the first time I saw their menu, I was like, this is so much, I can't even decide. But I've been here a couple of times, came here the first time in like February, and really enjoyed it every time I've been here.
So when I joined the Navy, my boot camp was in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And so I spent quite a bit of time out there in San Diego, California. For anybody who has not been there, first of all, talk about how awesome it is.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite places I've ever visited, and I was stationed in Key West, Florida. That's a pretty cool place. Yeah. And the weather in San Diego is marvelous. The weather here, you haven't been through. Were you here last winter?
I was here.
Okay,
January.
So you got a little taste. You got a little taste of what to expect as the winter months are on the horizon here. What was it like growing up in San Diego?
Yeah, I mean, of course, life was great. The weather there is amazing. I had a lot of opportunities to do things out there, a lot of places to go, places to eat, great food. But yeah, I really, really enjoy growing up there. But I'm glad I get to experience a place like Cape Girardeau.
So just across the border from Mexico, Tijuana,
yep.
And a bunch of my buddies after boot camp went down to Tijuana. You have been to Tijuana, but not for the reasons that Navy guys getting out of boot camp are going down there for. It was more of a charitable endeavor for you, your escapade down to Tijuana, Mexico.
Yeah, I've never been there for the fun reasons that most people go. I was there I think early on in high school, built a home with my charity group in Tijuana for a less fortunate family, and it was a great experience.
So tell us the name of the charitable organization.
Yeah, so that's called Lion's Heart. It's a big thing, at least where I'm at, for high school students. And yeah, it was a great opportunity for me in high school to get out in the community and, provide for others that are less fortunate.
So how did you get involved?
Got involved. Really, my mom signed me up. A couple of my friends' moms were talking about it. My mom was involved in the group chat, and she was like, "This would be a great way for you to get out and help others." And I was totally down for that, and I'm very excited I did it.
All right. Do you have any background in construction at all before you got to see how it worked?
No, zero. I wasn't too involved in the actual building process of the house. I'm not a super hands-on guy, or at least I wasn't at that point. But I got to paint it, build little things about the house, and help furnish it and whatnot. And it was really cool to see the smile on their faces when it was finally completed.
So you had a really good junior season for football in high school, and it was Scripps Ranch is the name of your high school, and they are the Falcons, the Scripps Ranch Falcons. So a really productive junior year, then senior season injury. What happened?
Yeah, so first couple drives, we were moving the ball, putting up points, and then it was either the third or fourth drive, got landed on by a linebacker, a little weird, broke my collarbone. I was out for the rest of my senior year.
So was it the right side or the left side?
It was the right. But it wasn't too bad to where it required surgery. It was going to heal on its own. But it still knocked me out for the rest of the year.
Did you know something was drastically wrong at the time, or did you have to get up and then you noticed it was not a good situation?
Yeah, I was on the ground, but I've been hit before, and I was like, well, this hurts. Let me get up. I'm fine. And then I started jogging to the sideline, couldn't lift my right arm, and I was like, oh, something's seriously wrong. My coach said, you're faking it. Get up, start throwing the ball around. I was like, okay, fine. Tried to throw the ball, couldn't lift my arm, had the trainer look at it, and kind of from there, it wasn't the best situation, but I'm very proud of my team. The rest of that senior year, they battled, and I'm glad to be back playing ball again.
So, have you always been the tallest guy in your class?
I'd say there were a couple kids in middle school who they shot up real early on, and then they just stayed there. But I've always been one of the taller kids, and I just steadily grown 3-4 inches a year, I ended up passing everybody my sophomore year of high school.
Remember that guy? It was 6th, 7th, maybe even 8th grade. He was bigger than everybody else and would dominate at basketball. Or he had a fastball that he could just blow by guys or run over guys on the football field. And then they never got any bigger the rest of the time.
Dude, I was so scared of those guys because I was like, I thought I'm big. These guys are dominant. And then they kind of just stayed that way the rest of their lives, and I kept on growing. So I'm very fortunate with the way that my height, my size progressed.
So when did your growth spurt take place?
Growth spurt, like I said, there wasn't really a big one. It was all very 3-4 inches a year, and I finally capped out my senior year at 6'8".
So we've got a guy, one of the great basketball players ever at SEMO, and one of the few that's ever been in the NBA, Antonius Cleveland. He was a small guy, and it was 6 inches in a year.
Oh, wow.
And when you do that, sometimes your knees get a little sore. That Osgood Slaughter thing may pop up. So you never had one of those.
No, I had some friends who had the Osgood Slaughter thing going on, and I never understood it. But they grew a lot in 1 year. I was pretty steady, man. I never had that experience.
So you're injured your senior year. How much do you think that affected your college recruiting? You ended up going to Nevada. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I had already been committed to Nevada April earlier that year.
Okay.
So I was still getting looked at by other schools. You know how recruiting is nowadays. People trying to poke and prod, see what they can get. But I got injured. The first thought my mom had was oh, I hope my boy's okay. And then right after that, she called the Nevada coach and was like, hey, is his scholarship still staying? Is it all right? And they were like, yeah, no worries. We know what your son can do. So they stayed true to me. I stayed true to them. And, ended up at Nevada later in January that next year.
And then you decided, well, let's go the junior college route. So it's San Diego Mesa College. How far away from that? How far is that from your home?
Yeah, so it was perfect because I got to live at home. I left early to go to college, graduated at 17, enrolled early in January, and then I got to go back home to play junior college, San Diego Mesa College. Only about a 20-minute drive from my house. Just get on the freeway real quick and you're there. And I got a lot of time back with my family that I wouldn't have otherwise. So it was a great time.
That works out nicely. And you're only 20. Your birthday is in July 20th.
Yeah. So
you're still kind of a young pup.
I guess I am nowadays in college football. Some of my roommates are 23. So they're I feel a lot younger than they are. But I'd say right around that almost middle-aged mark in college football, but still a lot of room left to grow for me.
Jax Leatherwood, Redhawks quarterback, our guest. Coach Tuke said maybe some of the people that thought about recruiting you to play football were scared away by your size. Did you get some feedback like that? What did you hear?
Yeah, that's always been the thing, man. I was very, very highly recruited in high school, but very lowly offered. I only had 2 offers, San Diego State and Nevada, but I was getting talked to by all these coaches. They said they liked my size at first, and then they were always ended up weary of it, oh, we don't know if you can move too well at that size. And that's something I've heard for a long time. But I've learned to embrace who I am as a player, what I can bring to the table. And when you have a coach like Coach Tuke who believes in a player like that, with the skill set that I have, it's a great feeling, and I'm very glad I can play for that man.
All right. The other sports that you played growing up.
I played every sport. My parents threw me into everything they could growing up. Had a lot of fun doing all that. Thought that my path was going to be baseball in middle school. I was a pretty good pitcher, well known around the community and whatnot. But ended up playing football, basketball, and volleyball in high school, and won a state championship in both football and basketball. Was getting recruited Division I in volleyball. But I knew that football was my true love, and I wanted to pursue that in college.
So, men's volleyball, not as big in the Midwest as it is on the West Coast. I mean, those Pac-12 schools, I mean, you get a lot of really good men's volleyball players. Yeah. Is there anyone on this SEMO roster that can compete with Jax Leatherwood in volleyball?
Absolutely not. We've tried. We'll pepper, if you know what that means, in volleyball. I'll try to introduce these guys to the game, but it has not been favorable for them. And yeah, if they ever were to meet me on the court, I'm sure it would lead to a possible injury, unfortunately.
So when you're in Nevada, you're on the sideline and you get to see Division I football, the speed of the game from the sideline.
Yeah.
Then you go junior college where the game is not as fast. Now you're playing Division I football. How big of a jump is it from not only high school, junior college, and now you're playing Division I? The speed of the game for a quarterback who's got to do a million things.
Yeah, so high school, I'd say almost every single play I knew exactly where the ball was going pre-snap. And I was like, well, I have my stud receiver lined up on a cornerback who's 5'4" and runs a 5 flat 40. I'm just going to take that matchup every time. And then you get to a Division I program like Nevada, you get to experience the speed of the game, and I had to play a little catch up. But I'm grateful that I spent that first year on scout team, and it helped me play against the starting defense, and I learned a lot through that experience. Then bouncing back to a junior college, I got to take what I learned from Nevada and apply that there, and I felt like I was prepared for that speed. Then coming here, I mean, I have I mean, even when it's junior college, you're still in college and you're playing against great athletes. So I had already taken what I got there and brought it here, and man, throughout this spring and fall camp, and I've been able to adjust to the speed of the game again at Division I, and yeah, I think I'm well adjusted at this point.
So as you're adjusting to your personnel, you hit 11 different guys on Saturday in the game against Southern Illinois. How about the talent level in that receiver room?
Yeah, I mean, our receiver room is extremely talented, extremely deep. But then also we have tight ends who can make plays. You saw Nolan, he hurdled a guy on a little flat route and got a first down for us.
Is he going to put that video on a loop on his phone as a screensaver?
I'm sure him and his entire family will. Yeah, and then we got running backs who can make plays down the field with their hands, and I'm super grateful to be a quarterback in an offense like this and with players around him like I do that can make plays and make me look a whole lot better.
How about Cam Pedro, man? That guy, it just seems like he is always open.
Yeah. No, I love my relationship with Cam Pedro. That's on and off the field. He's one of my best friends on the team. We do a lot of things together. So we've built that relationship through the off season, and then when the season comes, I feel so comfortable with him out there. And I mean, he knows how to get open and score points. So yeah, I just want to continuously feed him the ball and let him make the plays.
Boy, how much of an advantage is it? Because I mean, you're going up against some big dudes when you play Division I football. Even your offensive line, these are big dudes. Yeah. How much of an advantage is it to be able to see over the top, to be 6'8"? Because sometimes smaller quarterbacks, you know, they can have their line of vision obscured. It doesn't seem like there is much to obscure your vision.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps. That's always been a big advantage of mine. It helps me make a lot of reads over the middle that I'm sure shorter guys would have more trouble with. But I've never been a quarterback playing with this big of an O-line and a smaller body, so I don't know exactly how much of an advantage it is, but I've heard that it helps out, and I definitely can reap the benefits from that.
How disappointed were you that your athleticism is on display? You go over the top of the goal line, touchdown, and wait a minute, we're not going to give him the touchdown. We got to go to the video. You just made a play going over the top of the defense.
Yeah. of course you want that touchdown to stand, and man, whatever with the review, but it's all right. You know, you have to learn to adjust to whatever adversity is handled, and man, I'm fully trusting in our coaches that when we went out there and called that next play that it was going to work. Unfortunately, it didn't, but it's all right. You know, we can learn from these experiences, and of course, I'm bummed that it didn't stand as a touchdown, but you know, you learn from these things and we can move on.
Are you fast? Are you slow? Do you think you're quick? You're 6'8", 255. How would you rate your foot speed?
You know, I'm not the fastest guy in the world, but I mean, my first touchdown, I made a guy miss,
yeah.
so I can take away that with some pride, and yeah, I mean, in the open field, I'm going to be hard to tackle. I'm not going to be moving too fast. I'm not Lamar Jackson. I'm not like a lot of these mobile threats. I'm not like DJ Williams on the other team. But, you know, I have trust in my legs now. Coach Tuke has instilled that in me, that I can make plays with my feet, and I'm happy that I've learned how to do that.
First of all, how many times a day does someone say, "How tall are you?" And secondly, is the most common follow-up question, do you play basketball?
So I was just about to say, if you didn't mention that, it usually goes, "Oh my gosh, how tall are you?" Something like that. And I'll tell them, and then it's either, do you play basketball or do you play ball, something like that. And anytime someone asks me that, well, actually not anytime, but sometimes I'll pick my moments where I'm like, all right, I've heard enough of this question, and I'll ask this shorter person back, do you play mini golf? Just to poke some fun at them.
You got material ready.
Man, I've been living at this height for a while, so I like to have some fun with it.
So when you tell them, no, I don't play basketball, I play football, what's the reaction?
Oh, you must be a tight end. Oh, you must be a skinny O lineman. And that's usually what I hear. But then I explain, no, I'm a quarterback. And they're like, well, you can probably see over the line. And, yeah, that's usually just about how that goes.
So you've probably done research. I tried to do as much research as I could. There was one 6'9" quarterback that played D1, and you are tied for the second tallest quarterback of all time. Do you like the fact that you are unique in that you're the tallest quarterback, but I don't know that, you know, people have to recognize, well, you may be tall, but you're really good.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And, yeah, I mean, maybe in my younger years it was a little weird, like, because people were doubting me because I was too tall to play the quarterback position. People were telling me to list my height at 6'6" instead of 6'8" because it scares coaches. And
really,
yeah, as I've grown into who I am and embraced who I am, I've come to terms with, man, I'm 6'8". Let me use this to my advantage. I am who I am, and I'm a playmaker regardless of how tall I am.
All right, are you a San Diego Padres fan?
Huge Padres fan, yeah.
They're making a run here. I don't think they're going to win the West, but they're going to be a wild card team here. And I mean, they've got, if nothing else, they can make it a 6-inning game with that bullpen.
Yeah, no, I have full trust in my Padres. If they get that wild card spot, that they can make a deep run. They're an electric team. We have a big fan base. The Petco Park's always sold out. So I believe in my boys, and I think we can go get the chip regardless of how we start in the playoffs.
Did you grow up a Chargers fan? And if so, do you still root for them even though the owner ripped them away from San Diego?
Yeah, I grew up a massive Chargers fan. My dad worked for the Chargers for 25 years. So,
wow,
I mean,
there you go.
Yeah, it's all in the family. And I'm very connected with the Chargers. They're still my favorite team regardless if they moved. And I'm also a huge Justin Herbert guy, so that gives me even more incentive to keep rooting for him.
Were you a Phillip Rivers guy before you were a Herbert guy?
Of course. I love Phillip Rivers. I love him and his family. And, yeah, I've always been a massive supporter of him.
How tall is Herbert? Is he 6'6" or 6'5"?
He's 6'6". No, he's a big guy. My dad's 6'4". They took a picture together, and he was substantially bigger than my pops.
So did you know much about Dan McGuire, who played on the West Coast, played for the Raiders and I think Seattle? Mark McGuire's brother. Mark McGuire's a California guy. He was a 6'8" quarterback.
Yeah, so I know about Dan McGuire. He played for San Diego State, so I knew a little bit about him because of my ties to San Diego. And yeah, kind of something funny is when I first got my offer from San Diego State, people post their offers on Twitter and whatnot, trying to say, hey, I got offered by this team.
I'm blessed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm blessed. Blessed and highly favored. But, it was kind of funny because I used the picture of Dan McGuire as my offer post, and everyone loved that because I was this taller guy and I was relating myself to him.
That's classic. All right, you head on the road now to UT Martin, and I'm sure you're finding out about how dominant UT Martin has been in this conference. They have either won outright or shared the last 4 OVC titles. They've shared it a couple of times with the Redhawks. So this is a high-level program in this conference, and they have yet to win a game. They played 3 money games, and they played SIU. That's as tough a schedule probably as you guys have played. What's the thought process going in here, trying to get to 1-0 in conference play? I mean, everybody's 0-0 now.
Yeah, exactly. I know they're a good team. I've heard a lot about them since I've gotten here. But if we can take the lessons that we're able to learn from the North Dakota State game, the Arkansas State game, this past game against SIU, and apply those against UT Martin, I don't think there's any stopping us. And I feel like if we learn from those mistakes and correct what we can, the sky's the limit.
All right. My wife texted me and said, you have to ask him what size shoe he wears. Yeah. What size is it?
Yeah, so I wear a size 16. I've been wearing a size 16 since I was 16. So, yeah.
That's not a shoe. That's a ski. So, anybody else? I mean, do you have the biggest shoe size on the team?
I believe so. I think we have a couple of offensive linemen, defensive linemen who wear 15, but I don't know if anyone's there.
Who's 16. Wearing 15?
Oh, man, we got, Will Phillips, Rashad Turner, these big old boys that'll fit in the 15s.
16. So how tough is it to get a shoe?
Pretty tough. I mean, when you're on a team like SEMO, they can supply you with some size 16s. They have their connections. But if I'm shoe shopping by myself, I got to look at a whole different array of websites to be able to finally find what I need.
Man, and it's a life inside a big and tall store, right?
No, it's very true. I buy almost all my clothes from a site called American Tall. That's pretty much the only pants that I've found that fit me. So, yeah, that's my life.
American Tall. Jax, it was a pleasure to have you on the show. Stay healthy, and best of luck at Martin. We'll see you then. Thanks for coming on the show.
All right, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Jax Leatherwood, Redhawks quarterback and size 16. Back to talk to Coach Tuke about the opponent, the UT Martin Skyhawks. It'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff at Hardy Graham Stadium. It's the Redhawks Coaches Show from Wings, etc.
As a business owner, have you ever wondered how to show up on someone's stream of their favorite shows? Want to throw a net over the competition and catch relevant potential customers? Let us help. We're creative, ruthlessly efficient, and ready to set up your advertising game with digital options. Don't be scared of the future. Embrace it and use it to your advantage. Visit maxdigitaladvertising.com and get in touch with Tommy, a local rep ready to make a connection to help your business grow. That's maxdigitaladvertising.com. Let Max Digital maximize your advertising dollar with digital.
Final segment here on the Redhawks Coaches Show. Coach Tom Tukowicz rejoins us, and boy, Jax Leatherwood, he's an impressive guy, not just impressive in stature and, as we found out, shoe size, but just an impressive young man. I see what you're talking about.
You think he's got a future at the sports media?
I definitely think if that's what he wants to do, absolutely.
I don't know. I just don't see it.
You don't see it. I understand. You're trying to move in another direction.
We'll see, I guess.
So the UT Martin Skyhawks, Coach, it's 4 OVC titles shared or outright in a row for them. Now, only twice have they actually made the playoffs during this run. Jason Simpson, now it's his 20th season, 3rd all-time winningest coach in the history of the OVC. What's interesting, their schedule, they have played 3 money games, 3 FBS programs, and SIU, who beat them 37-10 at their place 2 weeks ago. Is it fair to say you don't really know how good or bad they might be because of the competition level?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's the same way with us. I think this is so interesting because both programs at the same spot. You know, you could see both programs going on a run. And so we just have a tremendous amount of respect for each other. When I got here, 12 years ago, you know, I'm looking through the schedule and I'm looking through coaches and I'm just looking at everything. And it was shocking. He was 7-1 against SEMO when I got here.
Man.
And I was like, because that don't make any sense. Like when you go to UT Martin, it's not like it makes sense. I mean, what's there, right? Their facilities, their campus, their town. And so I was like, okay, I got to figure that out. Like we need to build a team that can compete against that coach. And so I've always I always got this game circle, always look forward to it. It's really challenging. Both programs are coached real well, play hard, good players. And so this is a big one.
See, I want to bring people back to before Simpson got there.
Yeah.
They still have the record for most consecutive conference losses, Coach, from 1996 through 2003. Think about that. 96-03, they lost 44 consecutive OVC games. Now, they weren't fully staffed, fully funded as far as scholarships, but that was 03.
Yeah.
Then he gets there, and it's 5 OVC titles since he got there. I mean, he turned everything around for that program.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, does a great job. He's Mr. UT Martin on campus, everything. He's raised his children there. Both his boys are great college quarterbacks, or one is and one will be. His daughter was a valedictorian of her high school class, goes to UT Martin. Just really high achieving people, and it's all because of his wife. So it's not like Jason's done anything. It's because his wife.
They've got a whole new team. Last year, I was going back through my charts as I'm starting to do prep, and I'm looking at the guys who were on the 2 deep last year when we played them. 20 players that were 5th, 6th, or 7th year guys. Those guys are gone now. Mm-hmm. They've got 67 new players on their roster. That's a whole new football team. I mean, it's got a few guys back, but I mean, that's a whole new roster, right?
I know. It's even when it comes out of your mouth, you can't even believe it. I mean, it's just such a weird time that everything's in. Yeah, a lot of guys hit the portal just like we had, and transferred up and those type of things. And somehow, some way, you got to figure out how to replace them.
Jace Bauer is their quarterback coach. He transferred from Sam Houston. He played 3 years at Central Michigan. So he's a portal guy, but he's a guy, I'm not going to put him in the category of DJ Williams. I'm not sure there are many guys in that category. But this is a guy that can get out and hurt you with his legs, right?
Yeah. Very similar. We faced 4 straight running quarterbacks. All of them are very mobile, and so this will be a challenge. We actually recruited Jace, and so know him and watched a lot of film even before this week, in the past and all that. And so really outstanding human being, great competitor, has won Division I. He won some games at Central Michigan. He won some games at Sam Houston. So he's a vet, and I'm sure he's watching our film and feel like he can make some plays. plays, so it'll be a challenge for us.
You know, something else, when you talk about the quarterbacks that you faced, Cole Payton right now is on the Walter Payton Award watch list. He's already listed as one of the top quarterbacks at FCS in the country, North Dakota State. DJ Williams, by the time the season, he was just named National Offensive Player of the Week. Before the season is over, you may have faced two guys that will finish top 5 in the voting for the Payton Award. I mean, you have faced elite quarterbacks.
Yeah, absolutely. Great players, and there was a lot of weaknesses exposed, and so those are opportunities for us to improve those and see if we can't get on a run here.
A little bit of a different road trip for you. You're going to travel day of game. How is that? How does that go when you're traveling day of game? You don't have a lot of those trips.
Yeah, we just treat it like a home game. We'll have pregame meal here. Guys will get on a bus, take a nap, then we'll go out, get ready for game. It's under 2-hour trip, so we've done it before and won there, and so pretty much a non-factor. If it was a different time, sometimes it's tough, but 6 p.m. it'll be no problem.
All right, you hate those 6 p.m. starts. You want 11 a.m., right?
Yep.
So when they are building phase 2 at Houck, we had Brady Barkey on, and he thinks shovels in the ground in 26, hopefully 28, boom, it's there, it's ready to go. But while they're constructing it, they got to take the lights down at Houck. Are you lobbying for only 11 a.m. games?
No, I only have so much collateral to spend on things that matter to me.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys, like, if it matters to me, nothing, I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. But I don't have other gears. I don't kind of care about things. I either care or it's dead to me. Like, I don't even care. And so things like that, I let administration do what's best for the greater good.
All right. So keys for you to go over to Martin and start 1-0 in conference play.
I think two things. One is, we got to stay together. I think it was a challenging loss for lots of ways and lots of different things. And so sometimes on teams that start to fracture because of that, becomes offense, defense, or we start pointing fingers at a coach, stuff like that. So we got to really stay together, stay focused. And then lastly, we got to be the most excited team to play. There won't be anybody there. It'll be a dead environment, and you got two teams that are going through a lot of adversity. I really think the team that's the most excited to play is going to have the best chance to be successful.
All right, it's going to be a 6 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at Hardy Graham Stadium. We appreciate your time as always, Coach, and we'll see you in Martin, Tennessee.
See you then.
All right, that is the Redhawks head coach Tom Tuke. Stay tuned. We'll get you back to regular programming here on ESPN. So long for the Redhawks Coaches Show at Wings, etc.